Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to my channel. It's a pleasure to have you join us as we uncover the secrets of January 1904. The following events occurred in January 1904. Let's now enter the realm of January 1, 1904 Friday and discover the fascinating stories it has to tell. January 1, 1904 Friday. Boston's Polar Bear Club, the L Street Brownies, held their first documented New Year's Day swim in Boston Harbor. The Louvre Hotel on Lake Avenue in Chicago, Illinois, was destroyed by fire. 3 people, including a 12-year-old boy and his mother, died of smoke inhalation, and 4 people were injured. According to an article in the San Francisco Call, with the remembrance of the Iroquois theater horror fresh in their minds, all persons in the place became panic-stricken and rushed madly for the streets as soon as it became known that the hotel was on fire. Born Fazl Aloi Chaudhry, Pakistani politician, in Korean, Gujarat District, Punjab Province, British India. 1982 died. James J. Belden, 78, member of the United States House of Representatives from New York, died of uremic poisoning. Kono Atsumoro, 40, Japanese politician. Frederick Pabst, 67, German-American brewer, died of pulmonary edema. Moving on to the next segment, we have January 2, 1904 Saturday. January 2, 1904 Saturday. Julio Argentino Roca, the President of Argentina, issued a decree confirming the transfer of the British meteorological station on Laurie Island, which would become Orcada's base, to Argentina. The first physical culture exhibition, the first large-scale bodybuilding competition in America, concluded at Madison Square Garden in New York City, having begun on December 28, 1903. American bodybuilder Al Trelor won the competition. During a matinee performance at the Fayette Theater on the Bowery in New York City, a false cry of fire nearly caused a human crush. A group of policemen in the lobby averted disaster by attacking audience members with clubs and fists and forcing them back inside, bringing a sudden end to the panic. Born Walter Heitler, German physicist, in Karlsruhe. 1981. Truus Klapwerk, born Gertrude Klapwerk, Dutch Olympic water polo player, diver and freestyle swimmer, in Rotterdam. 1991. James Milton, American popular and operatic tenor singer, in Moultrie, Georgia. 1961, low pneumonia died. Mathilde Bonaparte, 83, French princess. Harvey Ellis, 51, American architect and furniture designer. Queen Hyojong, 72, Empress Dowager of Korea. James Longstreet, 82, American Civil War Confederate general and United States minister to the Ottoman Empire, died of pneumonia. Get ready to immerse yourself in the world of January 3, 1904 Sunday as we examine its impact and relevance. January 3, 1904 Sunday. Catherine's Academy, a girls' Catholic school near Springfield, Kentucky, was totally destroyed by fire, causing about $200,000 in damage but no deaths. A derailment on the Western Maryland Railroad east of Hagerstown, Maryland, killed 2 people, including a 5-year-old girl, and injured 30. An explosion at an anniversary dance in Keesby, New Jersey, for the St. John's Benevolent Society injured 30 people, some seriously. Colorado Governor James Hamilton Peabody placed Telluride, Colorado under modified martial law. Born Boris Kokno, Russian poet, dancer and librettist, in Moscow. 1990, fall. Carlos Nascimento, Brazilian footballer and manager, in Rio de Janeiro. 1979 died. Lauren Parask, 70, Ivorian oral poet. In the upcoming section, we'll be dissecting January 4, 1904 Monday and exploring its implications in greater detail. January 4, 1904 Monday. The Committee on Military Ballooning of the British War Office issued its final report on its post-Second World War assessment of aeronautics. Much of the report would soon be rendered obsolete as news spread of the Wright brothers' flights in the Wright Flyer the previous month. The Lewis Hotel in Jewett City, Connecticut was destroyed by fire, resulting in about $25,000 of property damage. Firefighters battled the flames in temperatures of. The United States Supreme Court issued its ruling in the case of Gonzales v. Williams, determining that citizens of Puerto Rico were not aliens and could not be denied entry at American ports. The Iowa state capitol in Des Moines, Iowa, was severely damaged by a fire started by a candle which an electrician left burning. The interior of the House of Representatives chamber was largely destroyed. Engineer Crampton Linley was credited with saving the building by leading a group of men to close doors separating the Capitol's wings. The following morning, while inspecting the damage above the ceiling of the House chamber, Linley would fall through the ceiling to his death. In Corvallis, Oregon, 20 vigilantes tarred and feathered Edmund Crefeld, leader of a group of Holy Rollers, and his fellow leader H. Brooks. Crefeld would marry Maud Hurt, daughter of his former follower O.V. Hurt, the following day in Albany, Oregon. Born Frédéric Adam, French composer, conductor and administrator, in Hinsburg, Alsace d. 1984. Eric Chisholm, Scottish composer, in Cathcart, Glasgow d. 1965, heart attack. Audrey Emery, American heiress and socialite, in Cincinnati, Ohio d. 1971. Tom Helmore, English film actor, in London d. 1995. Gerd Istapel, Swedish Olympic diver and swimmer, in Gothenburg d. 1987 died. Mitrofan Belyaev, 67, Russian music publisher and philanthropist. Thomas Celsius Campbell, 58, American lawyer and politician, died from the aftereffects of exposure aboard the grounded yacht Roma. Friedrich Jolly, 59, German neurologist. Elizabeth Wormeley Latimer, 81, English-American author. Anna Winlock, 46, American astronomer and human computer. As we progress through this video, let's shift our attention towards January 5, 1904 Tuesday and uncover its hidden depths. January 5, 1904 Tuesday, an explosion in the nitroglycerin department of the National Explosives Works, from Street Ives, Cornwall, killed 4 men, caused multiple injuries, and shattered windows in Street Ives and Penzance. Born Miguel Capuchini, Uruguayan footballer, in Montevideo d. 1980. Jean Dixon, born Lydia Emma Pinkett, American astrologer, in Medford, Wisconsin d. 1997. Erika Morini, Austrian violinist, in Vienna d. 1995, heart disease. Otto Niebuhr, Communist Party of Germany politician, in Kusel d. 1977 died. Count Arthur John Moore KHS, 54, Irish nationalist politician. William Campbell Walker, CMG, New Zealand politician. Karl Alfred von Zittel, 64, German paleontologist, died of heart disease. In the next segment, we'll be exploring January 6, 1904 Wednesday and its implications for our subject matter. January 6, 1904 Wednesday, Italian composer Giacomo Puccini arrived in Milan to supervise rehearsals of his new opera Madama Butterfly, which would receive its world premiere at La Scala on February 17. The Associated Press published a statement issued the previous day by the Wright brothers correcting published misinformation about their December 1903 flights. The wreck of a passenger train on the Rock Island Railroad in Willard, Kansas resulted in 17 deaths and 37 injuries. Born Aime Boulogne-Lemaire, born Estelle Aime Lemaire, Belgian feminist and woman activist, in Saint Gilles, Belgium d. 1998. Ilya Musin, Russian conductor, in Kostroma d. 1999. Ramiro Prial, Peruvian politician, in Huancayo, Department of Junín d. 1988. Get ready to uncover the mysteries surrounding January 7, 1904 Thursday as we navigate its intriguing terrain. January 7, 1904 Thursday, distress signal CQD was established, only to be replaced 2 years later by SOS. Alexander Graham Bell and his wife, Mabel Gardner Hubbard, left the port of Genoa, Italy, aboard the German steamship Princess Irene with the remains of James Smithson, benefactor of the Smithsonian Institution. Irish author James Joyce wrote the essay A Portrait of the Artist, elements of which he would incorporate into his later works Stephen Hero and Ulysses. In New York City, 3 employees of the Brooklyn Union Elevated Railroad, a yardmaster, a car coupler, and a foreman were killed in a collision between 2 trains. Born Charles Collins, American singer and actor, in Frederick, Oklahoma, d. 1999. Ruth Lanshoff, born Ruth Levy, German-American actress and writer, in Berlin, d. 1966. Edoardo Volterra, Italian scholar of Roman law, in Rome, d. 1984, died. Ruth Cleveland, 12, daughter of former U.S. President Grover Cleveland, died of diphtheria. Park Godwin, 87, American journalist. Friedrich von Hefner-Altenig, 58, German engineer. Hippolyte Auguste Marnani, 80, French publisher and builder of rotary printing presses. Emmanuel Rohoides, 67, Greek writer. Sir Albert Woods, 87, English officer of arms. Let's now turn our gaze towards January 8, 1904 Friday and explore the fascinating connections it has to offer. January 8, 1904 Friday, steamboat Clallam sank in the Strait of Juan de Fuca with the loss of 56 lives. Every woman and child aboard drowned due to accidents involving the lifeboats. At the Clallam's launching on April 15, 1903, the traditional botwood champagne had failed to break on the boat's bow. The Blackstone Library was dedicated, marking the beginning of the Chicago Public Library system. Born Peter Arno, born Curtis Arno Peters, Jr., American cartoonist, in New York City, d. 1968, emphysema. Karl Brandt, German physician and Schutzstaffel officer, in Mulhouse, Alsace-Lorraine, German Empire, d. 1948, executed by hanging. Tampa Red, born Hudson Woodbridge, later known as Hudson Whittaker, American Chicago blues musician, in Smithville, Georgia, date of birth uncertain, d. 1981. Lev Zinder, Russian linguist, in Kiev, Russian Empire, d. 1995, died. Orson W. Bennett, 62, American Union Army officer, Medal of Honor recipient. Let's now turn our attention to January 9, 1904 Saturday and examine its role within the larger context. January 9, 1904 Saturday, Dervish movement Somali. At Jidbali, Somaliland, 1,000 dervish were killed in battle with British forces under Lieutenant General Charles Egerton. In Wayne County, West Virginia, near Cassville, 6 men were killed and 14 injured in a dynamite explosion on the extension of the Norfolk and Western Railway. Born Wilhelm Graf, German physical chemist, in Hamburg, d. 1977. Giorgio La Pira, Italian politician and human rights activist, mayor of Florence, in Pozzolo, Ragusa, Sicily, d. 1977, died. Charles Foster, 75, American politician, member of the United States House of Representatives from Ohio, Governor of Ohio and Secretary of the Treasury, died of cerebral hemorrhage. John Brown Gordon, 71, American general and politician, 53rd Governor of Georgia, died of stomach and liver congestion. Hannah Lynch, 44, Irish translator, died of a stomach ailment. Alfred Richards, 36, South African Test cricketer and rugby union player, died of typhoid fever. William W. Skiles, 54, American lawyer and politician, member of the United States House of Representatives from Ohio, died from pneumonia. Thomas East Stewart, 79, American lawyer, member of the United States House of Representatives from New York. Francis Wayland III, 78, American judge and politician, Lieutenant Governor of Connecticut and Dean of the Yale Law School, died of acute bronchitis. Now, let's shift our focus to January 10, 1904 Sunday and embark on an intellectual exploration of its various dimensions. January 10, 1904 Sunday, members of the Swedish Antarctic expedition returned to Stockholm, Sweden. The New York Times reported that a volcanic eruption on Sugarloaf Mountain in Roane County, Kentucky was producing large amounts of smoke. On February 4, the Bee, an Arlington, Kentucky newspaper, would report that the smoke was actually from a moonshine plant. Born Zoltán Bicski, Hungarian Olympic swimmer, in Zvolen, Austria-Hungary d. 1988. Ray Bolger, American actor, singer and dancer, best known for his role in The Wizard of Oz, in Dorchester, Massachusetts d. 1987, bladder cancer. Gonzalo Curiel, Mexican film score composer, in Guadalajara, Jalisco d. 1958, myocardial infarction died. Georgina Jane Burgess, New Zealand hotel keeper, midwife and postmistress. Christian August Friedrich Garck, 84, German botanist. Jean Germ, 79, French painter and sculptor, died of cerebral congestion. Antoinette Sterling, 62, American contralto singer. In the following segment, we'll be examining January 11, 1904 Monday in greater detail. January 11, 1904 Monday. Murray Alper, American actor, in New York City d. 1984. Alfred Kiefer, Luxembourgian Olympic footballer, in Romelange d. 1987 died. John Y. Brown, 68, American politician, member of the United States House of Representatives from Kentucky, Governor of Kentucky. William Sawyer, 88, Quebec politician. Now, let's dig deeper into January 12, 1904 Tuesday and unveil the hidden treasures it holds within. January 12, 1904 Tuesday. Hero wars in German Southwest Africa began. At Lake Street, Clare, Michigan, Henry Ford set a new automobile land speed record of 91.371 miles per hour. Born Chef Van Run, Dutch Olympic footballer, in S-Hertogenbosch d. 1973. Fred McDowell, American singer-songwriter, in Rossville, Tennessee d. 1972. Yi Ungro, Korean-born French painter, in Hongzhou County, South Chungcheong Province d. 1989 died. John Harris Brown, 86, English-Australian explorer and pastoralist. Latimer Neville, 6th Baron Braybrook, 76, British peer, clergyman and academic. Oreste Sindici, 75, Italian-born Colombian composer who composed the music for the national anthem of Colombia, died of arteriosclerosis. Let's now turn our attention to January 13, 1904 Wednesday and uncover the fascinating insights it brings to the table. January 13, 1904 Wednesday is part of the modernization of the Chinese educational system. A group of advisors which included Zhang Zidong proposed abolishing the imperial examinations. A fire which was apparently deliberately set destroyed the Platte City Jail in Birmingham, Alabama, killing 5 people and allowing 20 prisoners to escape. The entire business district of Havre, Montana, was destroyed by a fire which started shortly after midnight, seemed to have been put out at daybreak but re-emerged 5 hours later, having been smoldering underneath a sidewalk. The fire caused $350,000 in damage but no deaths. In Reevesville, South Carolina, an African-American man known as General Lee, who had been arrested for criminal assault because he had allegedly knocked on a white woman's door, was lynched by a white mob. The woman, who knew Lee, never claimed that she thought he was the person who knocked on her door. In Sussex County, Virginia, an African-American man named Elmore Mosey or Elmo Mosey was acquitted of the December 1903 murder of Allen Fields, also African-American, but was then lynched by an African-American mob. No one would be indicted for Mosley's lynching. In Tallulah, Mississippi, an African-American man named Butch Riley was lynched for allegedly having murdered Celsius McMillan the previous night. At least 8 workers were killed in an elevator accident at the Brown Shoe Company building in St. Louis, Missouri. 7 of the dead were boys between 12 and 15 years old. Born Richard Adamsel, British composer, in London d. 1977. Jean de Beaumont, French journalist, politician, World War I fighter pilot and Olympic sport shooter and skeleton competitor, in Chidebourg, Paris d. 2002. Anton Bessold, German politician, in Wheeling d. 1991. Jarkko Freiman, Finnish Olympic speed skater, in Tampa d. 1987. Fausto Guzzini, Italian film actor, in Nonantova, Emilia-Romagna d. 1967. Josef Hatzii, Hungarian Olympic foil fencer, in Ora, Austria-Hungary d. 1988. Oliver Messel, English artist and stage designer, in London d. 1978. Nathan Milstein, Russian-born American violinist, in Odessa, Russian Empire d. 1992. Heart attack. Björn Olivier, Swedish Olympic diver, in Stockholm d. 1955. Dick Rowley-born William Richard Rowley, Irish professional footballer and Royal Air Force officer, in Enniskillen d. 1984. Jacqueline Zodiac-Con Eisenman-born Jacqueline Zodiac-Con, French physicist, in the 8th arrondissement of Paris d. 1998 died. Charles Harvey Denby, 73, American Union Army officer and diplomat, died of heart failure. Samuel G. Havermal, 79, American Methodist minister, died of heart disease and dropsy. With that being said, let's now move on to January 14, 1904 Thursday. January 14, 1904 Thursday in High Springs, Florida, an African-American man named Jumbo Clark was lynched for allegedly having attacked a white girl of about 14 on her way to school. The lynch mob consisted of 50 men, none of whom wore masks. The Wright brothers wrote to patent attorney Harry Aubrey Tallman's sister for an appointment concerning patenting their flying machine. In Dallas, Texas, businessman William Celsius McCann was found shot to death in his office chair after what appeared to have been an informal pistol duel with his former business partner, J.M. Chappell. Chappell was wounded in the temple, scalp, and left ear. In Golden Gate Park, San Francisco, a baby bear, reportedly the first grizzly bear ever born in captivity, was born in the early morning to the park's bear couple, Mr. and Mrs. Monarch. At 4 p.m. the same day, water was introduced for the first time into the new model yacht lake pumped by the Dutch windmill. San Francisco Parks Commission President Adolph B. Spreckles and Golden Gate Park Superintendent John McLaren supervised the adjustment of the valve. The baby grizzly bear would die on the night of January 16. Born Henry Georges Adam, French engraver and sculptor, in Paris d. 1967, heart attack. Cecil Beaton, English photographer, scenic designer and costume designer, in Hampstead, London d. 1980. Hector Gray-born Alexander Thomson Scott, Scottish street trader and company director, in Bowling, West Dunbartonshire d. 1985. Babe Siebert-born Charles Albert Siebert, Canadian National Hockey League left-winger and defenseman, in Plattsville, Ontario d. 1939, drowning. Ernst Wellman, highly decorated German army officer, in Santa, West Prussia d. 1970 died. Henry W. Lander, 77, American lawyer and politician, died of pneumonia. As we move forward, let's uncover the untold stories and fascinating intricacies of January 15, 1904 Friday. January 15, 1904 Fridayman. Gunnar Ekström, Finnish international footballer, in Oidi 1951. Jim Burdoin, American National Football League guard, in Coffee Springs, Alabama d. 1969. Harold Jefferson Coolidge Jr., American zoologist, in Boston, Massachusetts d. 1985, complications after a fall. Eddie Dellinge-born Eddie Dellinge-Moss, American bandleader and lyricist, in Long Island City, New York City d. 1949. William Findlay, Scottish-American Olympic and professional soccer player, in Kilmarnock, East Ayrshire d. 1981. Willy van Zwitteren, Dutch footballer, in Rotterdam d. 1983 died. Oscar South. Bushnell, 69, American businessman and politician, Governor of Ohio, died of apoplexy. Edward Larson, 73, Belgian-Danish composer and conductor. Let's now turn our gaze towards January 16, 1904 Saturday and explore the fascinating connections it has to offer. January 16, 1904 Saturday. Dorothy Eady, British archaeologist, Egyptologist and folklorist, in Blackheath, London d. 1981. František Kratokval, Czech Olympic wrestler, in Libadis, Czechoslovakia d. 1995 died. Lyman East Barnes, 48, American lawyer and politician, member of the United States House of Representatives from Wisconsin. Thomas B. Woodworth, 62, American newspaper publisher and lawyer. Moving ahead, let's uncover the hidden gems within January 17, 1904 Sunday and discover their significance. January 17, 1904 Sunday. Anton Chekhov's play The Cherry Orchard received its premiere performance at the Moscow Art Theatre. In Bloemfontein, Orange River Colony, a reservoir burst, drowning about 60 people, destroying 179 buildings, and leaving hundreds homeless. Born Jack Ackland, born Hugh John Dyke Ackland, New Zealand politician, in Christchurch d. 1981. Andrew Blassett, French Olympic cross-country skier, in Villa de Lans, Isru d. 1994. Glenn Graham, American Olympic pole vaulter, in Los Angeles, California d. 1986. Patsy Ruth Miller, born Ruth Mae Miller, American actress, in St. Louis, Missouri d. 1995. Hem Vijayakorn, Thai artist and writer, in Phrae Vang, Phranaken District, Bangkok d. 1969 died. The Honourable Sir Henry Keppel, 94, Royal Navy Admiral of the Fleet. Joseph Neerschel, 80, German Roman Catholic theologian. William Tobin, 44, English-born Australian cricketer. Moving ahead, let's uncover the hidden gems within January 18, 1904 Monday and discover their significance. January 18, 1904 Monday in France, fencer Jean Stern and poet Robert de Montesquieu fought a duel with swords over critical comments Montesquieu had made about Stern's wife. Montesquieu was wounded, but not seriously. Associate Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes Jr. delivered the United States Supreme Court's decision in the case of Rogers v. Alabama, reaffirming the court's previous ruling in Carter v. Texas that the exclusion of African Americans from grand juries in cases with African American defendants violated the 14th Amendment to the United States Constitution. In Findlay, Ohio, a fire completely destroyed the Turner's Opera House, causing $40,000 in damage. In North Dayton, Ohio, a fire that started in the basement destroyed the Allen School. A man who was working in the basement was reported missing and believed to have been killed. Only one of the school's 800 students died, a disabled child named Edna Baum who was trampled to death during the evacuation. Born Boris Babotkin, Soviet actor and director, in Saratov, Saratov Governorate, Russian Empire d. 1975, heart attack. Anthony Gallerini, American accordionist and composer, in Manchester, Connecticut d. 2006, heart attack. Cary Grant, born Archibald Alec Leach, English actor, in Horfield, Bristol d. 1986, stroke. John Axel Naumfeldt, Swedish botanist and mycologist, in Trelleborg d. 1985 died. Sandford Arthur Strong, 40, English Orientalist and art historian. George Francis Train, 74, American entrepreneur and adventurer, died of heart disease subsequent to nephritis. Let's now turn our attention to January 19, 1904 Tuesday and uncover the fascinating insights it brings to the table. January 19, 1904 Tuesday in Princeton, New Jersey, Maria Louisa Bustill, the mother of Paul Robeson, received fatal burn injuries while cleaning her living room when a hot coal from the stove set fire to her dress. In his inaugural address as governor of Mississippi, James Kelvin Vardaman commented, "You can scarcely pick up a newspaper whose pages are not blackened with the account of an unmentionable crime committed by a Negro brute, and this crime, I want to impress upon you, is but the manifestation of the Negro's aspiration for social equality, encouraged largely by the character of free education in vogue, which the state is levying tribute upon the white people to maintain. Governor Vardaman also urged Americans to demand that the 15th Amendment to the United States Constitution be repealed. At the East Gray Rock Mine in Montana, a cave-in killed 4 miners. In Walla Walla, Washington, the Walla Walla Commercial Club received word that the United States Secretary of War had decided to close Fort Walla Walla once the Boise, Idaho barracks were enlarged. Due to a large number of cases of smallpox in Oakland, California, and elsewhere in the state, North. Kelvin Foster, the Secretary of the California State Board of Health in Sacramento, ordered the Oakland Board of Education to ensure that all Oakland public school students provide certificates of vaccination. Born Gordon Beecher. Born William Gordon Beecher, Jr., American songwriter and United States Navy Vice Admiral, in Catonsville, Baltimore County, Maryland, d. 1973. Ralph Street Germain, Canadian Olympic ice hockey player, in Ottawa, Ontario, d. 1974. Leo Soilo, American Cajun musician, in Ville Platte, Louisiana, d. 1980. Died John Selden Saunders, 67, Confederate States Army officer, Adjutant General of Maryland. Let's now turn our attention to January 20, 1904 Wednesday and uncover the fascinating insights it brings to the table. January 20, 1904 Wednesday. Operetta de Gitterlet, composed by Franz Lehrer, received its world premiere at the Carl Theater in Vienna. Pope Pius X issued the Apostolic Constitution Commissum Nobis, permanently abolishing the jus exclusivae, or papal veto, previously exercised by certain Catholic countries over the election of a papal candidate they considered undesirable. The jus exclusivae had most recently been exercised by Austria against Cardinal Mariano Rampolla at the 1903 papal conclave. Alexander Graham Bell and Mabel Gardner Hubbard arrived in New York City aboard the steamship Princess Irene with the body of James Smithson, which was transferred to the dispatch boat USS Dolphin for the journey to the Washington Navy Yard. Born Benotto Cacciapoli, Italian mathematician, in Naples, d. 1959, suicide by gunshot. Alfred Lindley, American lawyer, mountaineer, and Olympic champion rower, in Minneapolis, Minnesota, d. 1951, airplane crash. Died Maria Louisa Bustle, 50, American Quaker schoolteacher, mother of Paul Robeson, died from burn injuries she had suffered the previous day. Achille Larousse, 64, Quebec farmer and politician. Ferdinand Mannlicher, 55, German-Austrian co-inventor of the Mannlicher rifle. William Overall Yeager, 70, Confederate States Army officer and Virginia politician. Now, we shift our focus to January 21, 1904 Thursday, a topic that deserves our attention. January 21, 1904 Thursday, the Korean Empire declared its neutrality in the oncoming Russo-Japanese War. The opera Gij Pastorkia, her stepdaughter, better known as Jennifer, composed by Leo Janek, received its world premiere in Brno. Born R.P. Blackmer, American literary critic and poet, in Springfield, Massachusetts, d. 1965. Puck van Heel. Born Gerardus Henricus van Heel, Dutch Olympic and professional footballer, in Rotterdam, d. 1984. John Porter, Canadian Olympic champion ice hockey player, in Beckwith, Ontario, d. 1997. Idris Rice Ray Carson. Born Idris Ration Rice Ray, American medical researcher, in Newark, New Jersey, d. 1990. Wal Williams. Born Walter George Williams, Australian rules footballer, in Scoresby, Victoria, Australia, d. 1982. Died Wilhelm Olbers, 63, Bavarian American Union Army officer and politician, member of the Wisconsin State Assembly. Sir Frederick Seeger Hunt, 1st Baronet, 65, British politician and distiller. Albert von Maybach, 81, German lawyer, politician and railway manager. James Fahrenheit Stewart, 52, American lawyer, member of the United States House of Representatives from New Jersey. Moving on to the next segment, we have January 22, 1904 Friday. January 22, 1904 Friday at 1 a.m., a tornado struck Mountville, Alabama, killing 38 people, injuring over 100, and destroying all but one business building in the town. In Bedford, Indiana, 22-year-old high school Latin teacher Sarah Catherine Schaefer was found dead in a buggy shed near the boarding house where she lived, after being reported missing the previous evening. Her skull had been crushed with a paving brick, and her body had been dragged at least along an alley. A suspect would be tried and acquitted of Schaefer's murder, but the case would never be solved. A railroad engineer and fireman were killed when a Canadian Pacific Railway train went out of control west of Field, British Columbia. Born George Balanchine, born Georgy Melitonovich Balanchevaz, Russian-born American choreographer, in St. Petersburg, 1983, pneumonia as a complication of Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease. Mario Albertelli, Italian cinematographer, in Rome, Lazio, 1966. Sigurd Andersen, Norwegian-born American politician, governor of South Dakota, near Arendal, 1990. Arkady Gaidar-born Arkady Petrovich Golikov, Russian children's writer and Red Army commander, in Lvov, Kursk Governorate, 1941, killed in action. Leonard Williams-born Arthur Leonard Williams, British politician, Governor-General of Mauritius, in Birkenhead, 1972, heart attack, died. Edmund Andrews, 79, American surgeon and medical educator. Thomas Underwood Dudley, 66, American Episcopal prelate, Bishop of Kentucky, died of heart disease. George Salmon FBA FRS 84, Irish mathematician and Anglican theologian. Laura Vicua, 12, Chilean Roman Catholic holy figure and blessed, died of pulmonary tuberculosis. Let's now turn our gaze towards January 23, 1904 Saturday and explore the fascinating connections it has to offer. January 23, 1904 Saturday. Ilsund fire, which broke out at 2 a.m., destroyed most buildings in the town of Ilsund, Norway, leaving about 10,000 people without shelter. Only one person died, a 76-year-old woman named Anne Heen. Shortly after midnight, the schooner Augustus Hunt was wrecked in heavy fog off Quogue, Long Island, New York, resulting in the deaths of 8 of the 10 men aboard. The crew of the nearby Quogue life-saving station attempted to rescue the sailors, who were clinging to the wrecked vessel, but their boat was repeatedly driven back to shore by the surf, and lifelines thrown to the wreck fell short or wide. The wreck began breaking up after daylight, and at about noon the lifesavers were able to rescue 2 sailors, but continued hearing shouts from the wreck, which grew fainter through the afternoon before ceasing entirely. In Allentown, Pennsylvania, a jury acquitted Mrs. Catherine Bechtel of being an accessory before the fact in the October 1903 murder of her daughter, Mabel Bechtel. The protected cruiser was launched at the Newport News Shipbuilding and Drydock Company in Newport News, Virginia. Born Danijel Premel, Croatian Olympic and professional footballer, in Pregrada, Vardin County, Kingdom of Croatia, Slavonia, Austria-Hungary, 1975. Anya Seton, born Anne Seton, American historical novelist, in Manhattan, New York City, 1990. Louis Zukowski, American objectivist poet, in New York City, 1978, died. Den Bordier, 71, Belgian architect. James Frederick Skinner Gordon, 82, Scottish Episcopalian priest and antiquarian. With that being said, let's now move on to January 24, 1904 Sunday. January 24, 1904 Sunday. Colonel Arthur Lynch, who had led the 2nd Irish Brigade against the British during the Second Boer War and had been serving a life prison sentence for treason in Ireland, was released on license at the request of King Edward VII. At an American-owned mine in the Zaruma gold mining district of Ecuador, a wall collapsed on 15 American miners, burying them alive. In Guthrie, Oklahoma Territory, an African-American man named Louis Radford was arrested for the murder of Priscilla Frozel, an African-American woman, but was seized from jail that evening and lynched by an African-American mob. Convicted murderer Ernest Cashel, who had escaped from his cell 5 days before his scheduled December 15, 1903 hanging, was recaptured at a farmhouse outside Calgary, Northwest Territories, Canada. He would be hanged on February 2. Born Jock van der Griend, Dutch Olympic and professional footballer, in Vlodingen d 1970. Wyvern Pettersson, Swedish Olympic swimmer, in Eskilstuna d 1976 died. Harry Bass, 51, English cricket groundsman, died of heart failure. Edward William Davies, 48, former mayor of Fremantle, Western Australia, died of heart failure. Frederick I, Duke of Anhalt, 72, died of an apoplectic stroke. George William Lockhart, British elephant trainer, was crushed to death by an elephant. Juan Lopez, about, Chilean War of the Pacific vivandiri and nurse, died of endocarditis. Brace yourself for a deep dive into January 25, 1904 Monday as we explore its impact and relevance in our evolving narrative. January 25, 1904 Monday at 8:15 a.m. An explosion at the Harwick mine in Cheswick, Pennsylvania killed at least 179 coal miners. At 6 p.m., a rescue party descended the mine's main shaft and discovered 17-year-old Adolf Gunier, who was severely burned but was the sole survivor of the explosion. Mining engineer Selwyn M. Taylor ventured further into the mine in search of more survivors but was asphyxiated by afterdamp, dying early the next day. The USS Dolphin arrived at the Washington Navy Yard with the remains of James Smithson, which Alexander Graham Bell presented to the Smithsonian Institution in a ceremony in the Great Hall of the Smithsonian Castle. Smithson then lay in state in the Regent's Room in the castle's South Tower. Harford Mackinder read a paper on the geographical pivot of history at the Royal Geographical Society of London in which he formulated the Heartland Theory, originating the study of geopolitics. On the night of January, a fire at the Turin National University Library destroyed over 100,000 books and manuscripts. Born Ernst Blum, German international footballer, in Stuttgart d 1980. Albert de Ruycker, Belgian Olympic fencer, in Dendermonde d 1989. Gzafrid, Hungarian-Dutch composer and pianist, in Muromorosziget, Muromoros County, Austria-Hungary d 1989 died. Sir Graham Berry, 81, English-born Australian politician, Premier of Victoria, died of pneumonia. William Chauncey Kibb, 81, American soldier and educator, Adjutant General of California, died of tuberculosis. Coates Kinney, 77, American lawyer, politician and poet, died of the grip. Hoyt Sherman, 76, American banker, son of Charles Robert Sherman and brother of Charles Taylor Sherman, William Tecumseh Sherman and John Sherman. Moving on to the next segment, we have January 26, 1904 Tuesday. January 26, 1904 Tuesday, 15 miners were killed at the Stratton Independence mine in Victor, Colorado, when the cable of the mine shaft lift cage snapped, causing the cage to fall to the bottom of the shaft. The victims were non-union miners substituting for the Cripple Creek strikers. A major fire in Progreso, Yucatan, Mexico, destroyed an entire square and caused $2 million in damage. Douglas Evans, American actor, in Madison, Virginia d 1968. Otto Explorer, German entrepreneur and vehicle manufacturer, in Ulm d 1989. Ansel Keys, American scientist, in Colorado Springs, Colorado d 2004. Donald McIntyre, Royal Navy officer and naval historian, in Dehradun, Uttarakhand, British India d 1981. John McBride, Irish statesman, recipient of the Nobel Peace Prize, in Paris, France d 1988. Andrew Martin, born Indra Martin, Hungarian-American film director, in Budapest d 1992. Markus Nikkanen, Finnish Olympic figure skater, in Helsinki, Grand Duchy of Finland, Russian Empire d Erdede. Émile Deschanel, 84, French author and politician. Johannes Tak van Poortvliet, 64, Dutch politician. Grover South. Warmer, 82, American Union Army officer. Whitaker Wright, born James Whitaker Wright, 57, English businessman and confidence trickster, committed suicide by cyanide poisoning at the Royal Courts of Justice, Westminster, after his conviction for fraud. In this part of the video, we'll be diving deep into January 27, 1904 Wednesday and unraveling its profound impact. January 27, 1904 Wednesday, coal miner Daniel O'Lyle, who had arrived at the Harwick mine on January 26 in response to a call for rescue workers, spent that afternoon and most of the night working in the mine. He returned early in the morning of January 27 to search for more victims, but, like Selwyn Taylor, was asphyxiated by afterdamp, leaving a widow and 5 children. The self-sacrifice of Taylor and Lyle would inspire industrialist and philanthropist Andrew Carnegie to establish the Carnegie Hero Fund. At Daytona Beach and Road Course in Florida, William Kissam Vanderbilt I set a new automobile land speed record of 92.308 miles per hour in a Mercedes automobile, surpassing the record Henry Ford had set on January 12. Irish poet William Butler Yeats gave a lecture at the Alhambra Theatre in San Francisco, California, expressing the urgency of the revival of the Irish language. Yeats commented, "The Ireland of today is not the Ireland of yore. Before the famine you had the happy Ireland of jokes and music. After the famine you have the Ireland of tragedy. Gaelic Ireland is the Ireland of the centuries. English Ireland is the Ireland of the decades." In a match in Bellingham, Washington, American professional wrestler Tom Jenkins lost the American Heavyweight Championship to Frank Gotch by disqualification. Born James J. Gibson, American psychologist, in McConnellsville, Ohio d. 1979. Willie McLean, Scottish-born American soccer player, in Clydebank d. 1977. McLean disappeared in 1938. In 2022, reporters for The Athletic discovered that he had died in 1977 after years in institutions. Died. Julius Caesar Chappelle, American politician, member of the Massachusetts General Court. John H. Hayes, 59, American Union Army soldier, Medal of Honor recipient and police officer, Troy, Idaho Police Department, was shot to death by a domestic disturbance suspect. Samuel Phillips Jackson, 73, English watercolor painter. Stephen Wright Kellogg, 81, American attorney and military officer, member of the United States House of Representatives from Connecticut. Annie Chambers Ketchum, born Annalisa Chambers, 79, American educator and writer, revision of the Bonnie Blue Flag, Tertiary of St. Dominic. Robert Lowry, 79, member of the United States House of Representatives from Indiana. In this section, we'll be deep diving into January 28, 1904 Thursday, unraveling its complexities and uncovering valuable insights. January 28, 1904 Thursday, Gammon lawyer and future statesman Conrad Adenauer married his first wife, Emma Weyer, who would die in 1916. Arnold Comtes, son of Swiss President Robert Comtes, shot himself to death. At the Battle of Namatani, part of the Hero Wars, 500 Ovambo warriors led by Ondombe chief Nalmpingana attacked Fort Namatani in German Southwest Africa, which was held by 7 German soldiers. At least 70 Ovambo warriors were killed. In Robnenas, France, a gas explosion in the Hôtel de France's cafe killed 6 people and injured 14. One of the victims, the hotel proprietor's wife, had gone to the kitchen with a lighted candle to investigate a gas odor. At a League of Delaware dinner in Wilmington, Negro disenfranchisement was proposed as a Democratic Party slogan for the next campaign. Born Canuplin, born Canito Froncha, Filipino magician and vaudeville entertainer, in Tondo, Manila d. 1979. Hans Heiberg, Norwegian journalist and literary critic, in Christiania d. 1978 died. Samuel Lightfoot Flournoy, 57, American lawyer, politician and businessman, died of throat and pulmonary illnesses. Carl Emil Franzos, 55, Austrian novelist, died of heart disease. Elphege Gravel, 65, Canadian Roman Catholic priest and bishop. In the next portion, we'll be immersing ourselves in the realm of January 29, 1904 Friday and examining its broader implications. January 29, 1904 Friday. Vsta's SK Football Club was founded in Vstas, Sweden. At a meeting of the San Francisco Board of Park Commissioners, the board named the new lake in Golden Gate Park Spreckels Lake in honor of Commission President Adolf Spreckels, as he originated the enterprise and gave the work throughout his personal attention. The board voted for the new name over the objections of Spreckels, who had wanted the lake to be called the Model Yacht Lake. In Oakland, California, Arthur Herman Whitaker was found guilty of carrying a concealed weapon and fined. Poet George Sterling and other literary people were also present in the courtroom. Edith Roosevelt, the First Lady of the United States, hosted a musical at the White House featuring a performance by pianist and composer Ferruccio Busoni. Born Arnold Gellin, German philosopher, enlightened in 1976. Lydia Zamenhof, Polish writer, translator and proponent of Esperanto and the Beth faith, in Warsaw, Congress, Poland, Russian Empire d. 1942, murdered at Treblinka extermination camp. Died, H. W. Briggs, 84, former member of the California State Assembly, died of apoplexy. In this part of the video, we'll be delving deeper into January 30, 1904 Saturday and analyzing its key components. January 30, 1904 Saturday. The Sherlock Holmes short story The Adventure of the Priory School by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle was published for the first time in Collier's in the United States. At the Olympia, London, Estonian professional wrestler George Hackenschmidt won the World Championship in Greco-Roman wrestling, defeating Turkish wrestler Ahmed Madrali. Born Alexandras Abrams, Latvian footballer d. 1958 died. John Davies Okagwinden, Welsh printer and journalist. Józef Goszowski aka Józef Wikentewicz Gosawski, 38, Polish architect, died of tuberculosis. William Hearn, 54, English cricketer and test umpire. Donald MacDonald Mackay, about, Scottish-born Australian pastoralist and politician, member of the Western Australian Legislative Council. Phoebe Jane Babcock Waite-born Phoebe Jane Babcock, 65, American physician. In this section, we'll be peeling back the layers of January 31, 1904 Sunday to reveal its true essence. January 31, 1904 Sunday. Firefighters Christopher Dressel, Arthur J. Rink and Peter J. Guffey of the New York City Fire Department suffered fatal smoke and gas inhalation while fighting a fire at the American Manufacturing Company in Brooklyn. Many other firefighters were also injured by smoke inhalation. Born Francesco Minerva, Italian Roman Catholic prelate, Archbishop Emeritus of Lex, in Canossa di Puglia d. 2004. Max Sulzbergner, Swiss artist, in Basel d. 1985 died. Henry Johnson, 53, United States Army Buffalo Soldier, Medal of Honor recipient. Dan Mahoney, 39, American Major League Baseball catcher, committed suicide by drinking carbolic acid. Leave a comment below and let me know what you thought of this video.